name is Gayle Kuznia. I'm from Argyle, Minnesota. I'm 68 years old, retired farmer. Been farming in Argyle all my life. After high school, in 1971, I enlisted into the National Guard, and in December of that fall, I went for my basic training and my AIT. I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana, and I spent the 4.5 months, I guess.
How'd you get there?
Get to Louisiana?
Yeah.
By plane.
By plane? They flew you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They flew me out of Thief River. I left out of Thief River to the cities, I guess, and then from the cities, we went to straight to Shreveport, Louisiana, and then the bus came with the drill sergeants and everything, and they, like you see in the movies, they load you up and they haul you in. So
Did you know anybody?
yeah, I went with a guy from Nelson from Warroad. He was in the same unit as I was in Thief River. So that was, but we were supposed to go as buddies in there and go to the same unit and everything, but that never did happen. So we went our separate ways, and I never seen him all the time I was there. When I was there, never did see him where he was or what, never know where he went and stuff like that. So
what month was it that you went?
December, end of December, right after Christmas, because I was in Fort Polk in New Year's Day. I went there, so
it was a little cooler then.
it was a little cooler there. Yeah, right. Yeah, but wet. It's wet. When it rains there, it pours. It seems like
Yeah.
right down Louisiana there.
So what was your basic training like?
Basic training was, well, you learned pretty much about how to shoot the rifle and how to keep your bunks clean and all that kind of stuff. And you went, when we first got there, you went and you got in line and you got your haircut. That was the first thing you do once you get off the bus. Go get a haircut and stuff like that, and then you go in line and get your clothing and stuff, your clothing and your bedding and stuff like that. So then you were supposed to go to the bunkhouse and make your bed. But then I was one of the first ones there, so I got called to go do something about for the captain and something, a runner. I don't know what that was called now. It's some kind of runner or something like that. So I never did get my bed made and stuff like. Well, I just did a fast job of doing it. So then I spent the evening doing that, and in the morning I came back and all the platoon was all in the bed and all were there and everything like that. And here I come in and they were saying, "Oh geez, I don't want to sit by this guy because his bunks look like hell." So then I told him what happened and stuff like that, and so then I had to make the bunk up better than that. So
What kind of barracks were you in?
it was
Wood or brick?
the wooden bricks. Yeah,
Like
wooden
two-story
brick.
then?
Yeah, 2-story. Yeah, there was an upper layer and a top and bottom layer. So that. And otherwise, it was just day to day. You'd get up at, I suppose it was 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and you'd go for your run every day, all the time. I don't know. It seemed like you think of going for a 4 or 5 mile run, but that time it was nothing. I guess once you got used to it, you just went and you did it.
Did you have PT every day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you did that.
Somebody
And,
got on a platform and led you?
Yep. After that, and we always had not roll call, but when you had to go and pick up cigarette butts and
Police call.
police call. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, you always had that every morning too, to do that, pick up everybody else's cigarette butts, so stuff like that. And I guess the day started. Then once you got done with your run in there, you went to get your mess hall and had your breakfast and stuff like that. And after that, you got loaded up and you went out and went to these classes, I guess. You learned about shooting the firearm. I fired a M16. That was the gun at that time. And you went to the classes and you kind of, you hear, the main thing was the drill sergeants, I guess. This was my first time away from home. You have to understand. I just graduated from high school and I left. I graduated in May. And I was gone in December, so that was like the first time away from home. So, which I think for everybody who graduates out of high school should go through some kind of Army training, because that you kind of grow up after that. You kind of aren't think you know it all and stuff like that. So
You're not the first one to say that.
right, yeah, okay, yeah. So that would be a good experience for every high school person to go through. So because there, you keep your mouth shut, and and before you go, I went to a couple of meetings in Thief River Falls before I left, because I joined up probably right after high school, and they always said, before, when you go there, don't ever volunteer, don't be the first one in line, and don't be the last one in line. Just stay in the middle. So just so you were there, but just keep your mouth quiet. Don't get into trouble, because once they find out your name or something and you're a troublemaker, then you're the first one they call, I guess. So that's what it is. So that's basically what I did. I just stayed in the middle and did what I had to do and stuff like that. So
being a National Guard, were you with some regular Army people?
yeah, mostly, yeah.
And did you feel like you were treated any different?
No, they just called you, what do they call you? Called you NGs or whatever like that, something
National
like that.
Guard, yep.
Yeah, National Guard, yeah. But otherwise, no, because everybody who's there, when you go there, everybody's the same. You don't know the backgrounds of anybody, what they've done, or who they were, because everybody looks the same. You don't really, and you really don't care, because you just get along with everybody, pretty much so, like that. And then, what was I going to say? But
So did you go through the tear gas chamber and
of course, everybody goes through that.
crawl under machine gun fire?
Yep, went through the machine gun fire, and we shot the grenade, threw the grenades and stuff like that. I guess the one thing when you went to, you always heard, when you go, the bad thing was the gas chamber. Everybody went through that, and you don't get out of there without throwing up. Because even if you hold your breath or something, they'll come and they'll ask you a question while you're in there, and you'll have to open your mouth, and then you go out and you give it up then. That's what it is, Bailey. That was pretty much the bad thing.
Kind of itchy a little bit?
Itchy, yeah, that's about it, yeah. Yeah, and I guess I had my share of KP and stuff like that. I did like everybody else, did that kind of stuff. And I guess I was lucky, because I don't know how to swim, because when I was young, I fell into the river here once, and then after that I just didn't learn how to swim, and I didn't know how to swim. And when the day I had KP, they had the river crossing, the walk over the bridge, the what do you call it, the rope bridge or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad I had KP, so I didn't have to go that, because I was scared I'd fall in or something like that. So I was glad I missed that part of it anyway. So, but otherwise, basic training was pretty much basic of what you do.
You found it wasn't that hard, right?
No, not really that hard, because I just got out of high school, and I was pretty much in shape from basketball and football, so it wasn't that bad. I guess I could handle the running and handle the.
And looks like you've stayed in shape.
Well, I try to. If you eat good, you gotta stay in shape and take care of yourself.
Yep.
So,
And
yeah, and I guess once I got out of there, well, one thing I guess I didn't realize it, but our rifle shooting, when we had shot at the targets and stuff like that, at the basic graduation, I got an award for having the best most hits in the target. I said, which I never even thought of, but I was.
So you were expert.
Supposedly, yeah, I guess so, but I never knew that happened. But because when you're out there shooting, you just shoot, and you don't know what you hit. But I got called up and got a paper for that when at the graduation part.
Very good.
So that was something different. That was unexpected. So whatever. And what else was there? I guess the basic wasn't. You learn to know a lot of friends and stuff like that. You get to know a lot of different people and stuff, and all different areas and stuff like that, and pretty much I don't know.
So when you got done with basic, did you stay in Fort Polk?
Yeah, I stayed in Fort Polk and went for another 8 weeks to advanced infantry training there, and that was pretty much just the upper level of what we learned in basic, pretty much.
So you were a grunt.
Yeah, we just stayed. I think it just moved to a different company. That's all we did. So. And while I was there, I guess a lot of people, went on leave and stuff like that, but I didn't know anybody there, so I just had the friends around close, and everybody usually stayed on base and did stuff. You went to the PX and stuff like that and spent time that way. And I think at one time between basic and AIT, I think there was a movie house there or something like that. I think just to kill the weekend, I think we went to 5 movies in 2 days there just to kill the day. So, but otherwise, yeah, wasn't bad, I guess.
So AIT, did you do more bivouacking then? Or
Yeah.
was it quite a bit of it?
There was like a couple of weeks of it. We went, you went out and did bivouacking, go out and stay out in the woods or whatever, the swamps or stuff like that. That's what that was pretty much, yeah.
And what'd you live in when you were out there?
Just a tent, just a big tent.
A big tent?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, you stayed out there.
How many guys in the tent?
I suppose there was like your company, your whole company, like not company, but your squad in each tent. Like, so there's about 12 or so in squad. You each had your own tents out there. So
And you were like a rifle squad then?
yeah. Everybody was in the rifle squad.
Well, you'd be
that way.
nice to have around if you're an expert.
Well, probably I don't know, but that was a surprise to me that part of that. So,
Yeah.
and otherwise, when I came home. When I came after AIT, I came home and got off the airport, and my parents were there waiting for me, and they couldn't recognize me because I grew a mustache, and they didn't recognize me. They said that, they told me later, but there's a soldier, but I don't see Gayle there anyplace. So I guess I look different after short hair and just a mustache. So, but otherwise, yeah. And then back in the guard units, I guess what we did is we had meetings once a month, a weekend every month we had meetings. And in the summertime we went into a summer camp for 2 weeks to Camp Ripley. That's where we went.
All 6 years you went to Camp Ripley?
All
every
6
time?
years we went to Camp Ripley. And one of the years we had a winter camp instead of the summer camp, so we went to Camp Ripley for the winter, which was a different experience. I learned how to ski a little bit there, so it wasn't too bad, I guess. And then again, we went out for a week, or maybe 2 or 3 days out in the woods and stayed in a tent, tent there.
Was it heated?
Yeah, it was heated, a little bit heated, yeah.
What did you heat it with?
He had a gas heater or something in there inside, or something like that. And what we did is someone had a tequila or something like that, and there was a little worm on the bottom of the bottle like that. So it was our company, which I knew pretty good. There was a lot of people in this area that were in the guard with me there, and so they just kept passing it around, and whoever got the end, we were sitting in a circle there, and the heat was in the middle, so you passed the jug around, and whoever got to the end had to drink the thing. That's one thing I remember about that kind of stuff. But
Did you get stuck with the worm?
nope, didn't get stuck with the worm. So
Did the guy who got stuck drink it?
yeah, you had to drink it. It was
Well,
there.
by the time it got around,
By
it
the time it
probably
got around,
was
yeah.
not feeling any pain.
Yeah, and I guess the guard meetings, the once a month thing was, but no big deal. It's kind of, back then I never did go out and like the guard does now. They were drafted to go to the war or through anything like that. We never did go like help any group or anything to clean up.
You were never called up
Never
to go
called up to go
like,
no place. No.
watch rivers
No,
or anything
no.
like that?
That's not all the whole 6 years I was in. We never did get called to go do anything. Pretty much, you just went to the meetings, and the meetings were just kind of you go out in the woods and you drink beer. Pretty much, that's what it was. Actually, the guard was it there. So, and otherwise, I don't know.
Is there anything while you're about your military career you'd like to see you've done different?
Done different? Well, I guess being in the I guess I joined the guard because I didn't want to get drafted. Period. That's what it was. Like most of the people that joined the guard, they didn't want to get drafted. And then I was farming at the time, and my dad was alone, so I would just be home. I wouldn't be gone for whatever, they go across the Vietnam and stuff like that, and so I was home. I'd be home all the time to help farm. So
And you were the youngest son?
yeah, I was the youngest son, I guess so. And I guess, and when we were at basic training in infantry like that, you know, after the basic training, the regular army people got their orders and where they were going. Some had to go to Vietnam, some had to go here and that, and so I was kind of, after hearing what happens or what goes on, what was going on in Vietnam and the war, stuff like that, I was kind of glad I was in the National Guard I was coming back home and they had to go other places. So otherwise, pretty much, you know, you feel, I don't know, I guess I feel that I spend my time in the Guard, but I never spend any time in the war and stuff like that. And I guess I feel kind of bad that, you know, I don't feel that I'm equal to the people who fought in these wars.
I don't think you need to feel that way.
Well, you know, I spend my time and I just for meetings and stuff like that. But there was, you know, my dad was in World War II, and my brothers both were in the service. But they, you know, they seen a lot more than I ever did, because we never did. I shot the rifle, but I never did shoot at anybody and stuff like that. And so, and what they went through, you know, you see all these movies about the war and all this, how hard it was and what they went through and what they had to go through, and you know, you just think it, you know, why it wasn't worth it.
So
Why the war? Why was there a war anyway? Because some leaders started it, or something happens, you know, you got some crazies someplace that started do it, and so a lot of innocent people got killed. That's the problem, you know.
So you got done with the Guard, 6 years, and you were farming the whole time?
Yep, I was farming ever since all that time until 5 years ago, I guess, when we retired. So.
How many years did you farm?
Well, from 71, since I graduated, till 5 years ago, I guess, whatever it was, 40 some years, I guess.
40 some years of farming?
Yeah, 40 some years of farming. And I guess probably, well, I wasn't old enough really to retire, but then my brother got cancer, so he was planning on retiring farming. And we've been farming all our lives together, so instead of me going on the last couple years to farm or so, till I would be old enough to retire, I just said, might as well quit too, because I was 62 then already, so might as well quit instead of trying to split everything up like that and try to go on my own, I guess, so. But
So what did you do after you got done farming?
I went to work at Dale's Foods. I worked that well, which I do now. I've been there for 5 years.
What do you do there?
I cut the meat. I used to, when I first got there, anyway, my brother-in-law, Jim Ranstrom, was the manager at Dale's Foods there. So every winter he wanted me to come there and help him out at the store. And I never did, because I always was farming, and there was always something to do in the winter. But after I quit farming, then I said, yeah, I'd come there. And so I got into the meat department there, and that's where, at the first, we started cutting. I cut the beef and the pork and kept, you know, all that kind of stuff. But now, the last few years, when they changed ownership here, we don't cut the beef. We get the beef from Stephen. It comes from Stephen, ready packed and cut already. But the pork I cut in Warren, so that part of it. And it's something to do, I guess. It passes the time away right now. I don't have to work 4 days a week. I work, and it's just not too bad, I guess. So just passes the time away. So.
And your wife's retired from many years after school?
My wife retired here this past year, and she's glad. She's worked there for 36 years in the Argyle School District here as secretarial work. And she's had enough of it, I guess. She said she's tired of being the mother, the babysitter, I guess, because everything is different nowadays. Kids are different nowadays.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the thing. We'll go with that. So whatever.
So is there anything about your military career you'd like to have changed or done different?
what was I guess the differently it was an experience. It was good to go through, and it was I guess I met a lot of other people from around the area. I guess when I was in Thief River, that's where I was for my 6 years, and you meet a lot of different people and you know them. And then we had neighbors here. I had two neighbors. Tim Urbaniak was at the same unit I was, and Tom Tolobatsky was at the same unit. We drove every week ourselves. The three of us drove there for the meetings and stuff like that, and we went to the summer camps to say we all always drove there together. So because we only live a mile apart, pretty much all of us, and our birthdays is a day apart. So we always get teased about the mailman stopped here one year and then stopped here one year and stopped here down here. So we always got teased about that. So otherwise no, it was an experience, and it was, I guess, fun. It was okay. Sometimes were fun, and sometimes you got sick of it because it was pretty much stupidity.
But like, I've never asked this question before, but like National Guard, you're there 6 years, you must see people coming and going all the time.
You see a lot of people, from mostly from area towns. You recognize, people you played sports against and stuff like that. There were people in there like other guys in there like that. But and it was. I guess the worst thing about it was because I always played baseball, amateur baseball in the summertime, and sometimes I had to miss a game or something, and especially when the summer camp was 2 weeks out. You had to go to Fort Ripley in the summertime, so I'd miss a game there and and stuff like that. Otherwise, but it was an experience, I guess, and it was nothing like a lot of people went through for their training and for where they were at, stuff like that. It was pretty easy, pretty much.
Okay.
So.
Well, thank you, Gayle. Thank you for doing this interview. You're well respected in the community of Argyle and the surrounding area, and I appreciate your service. Thank you for your service.
Keith. Anytime I can help out, I'll make sure you
always
give me a
do.
call.
Thank you.
All right.